offer the best grooming products for you. Yes, all natural and handcrafted too. We wanna help be your swagger, your style, class, and luxury. We make our products tailor-made for you with high quality. Yeah, so get in style with the black, yeah. Grooming company, to give you swagger, style, class, and luxury. In luxury, yeah. The black gentleman, yeah. Company, give you swagger, style, class, and luxury. In luxury, yeah.
Located at www.theblackgent.com.
Yo, what's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back, welcoming you to Nerds on Culture with Stormy B Man for this Monday, Labor Day, September 1st, 2025. This is number 132 in series of Nerds shows, and we got a good one for you this evening because we're talking about the top 10 moments in the MCU, part 1. Yeah, I mean, for those of us who are comic book film fans and comic book graphic fans, this is a chance to reflect, go back on we could call it the first 10 years of the Marvel experience with the MCU. And it is now being referred to as the Infinity Saga. We didn't know going in because they were trying their luck with a few productions. And if it didn't get off to that start that it did, it was pretty much going to be the end of Marvel. But thanks to Paramount Films and what they were able to produce with the first outing, which was Iron Man, starring Robert Downey Jr. and Jeff Bridges, Gwyneth Paltrow. This film was what was going to set audiences' attention on something that could possibly rival what Christopher Nolan was doing over at Warner Brothers with the Batman films. So it was off and away we go as things kicked off. And it was a fond time. I say fond, F-O-N-D, time for moviegoers because this was a different type of experience. I remember when I was in the theater watching a different film. Don't even remember what the film was at the time. And they showed the preview of Iron Man. And I was like, whoa, they doing an Iron Man movie? I say, okay, cool. And so I started, going to the various areas where you could go and find out about movies in production, films coming out and stuff. And I was able to read up on this production, and I had looked forward to it. And I remember some of the first images that were released was Tony in the Mach 1 armor. And I was like, oh, that looks kind of clunky, because I know Iron Man was sleek with the red and gold armor and everything. But I didn't read a lot of Iron Man comics coming up. I knew who he was and Tony Stark and everything. And I remember the comic cartoon from the 60s with that cool snappy beat that they actually put in the film when he was playing at the crap tables. The music that was playing there was from that 1966 cartoon. Yep. For those who know, they know. But let me welcome my partner in crime in here. We got Drew Titan in the building with me this evening. What's going on, man? And you can join in with this talk about reflecting back on how we started off with this.
And salute to you and salute to the fellow nerds. This is right up the alley. Right up the alley. You gotta understand, this is our teenage/childhood brought to life with this wonderful technology onto the screen. And for the most part, phase 1, they've done right by us. Little changes to the story, but they've done right by us. It's just nice to see it brought onto the silver screen. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate great storytelling, because we are more than just, CGI. We need some good story behind it. So we've gotten that. They've dropped the ball a couple of times, but we don't want to talk about that this evening. But this Iron Man film right here, they did right by us. I'm very familiar with the Iron Man character. Of course, it came along before I was born. The original suit, I remember watching the first preview for it, and they run up on Tony and they try and delete him, and they shot him in the back of the head, but he was in the armor and it bounced off the top of the armor, and then you hear the guitar. And I said, wow, they're really going to give us the Black Sabbath theme for this? They really did it. I knew they would, and they did it, and the theater erupted, because then they show him come out with the clunky, the first armor. And then you see the word says Iron Man. I said, oh my God, they're doing it. And I'm going to tell you.
Right at the very end of that trailer,
yep,
they show him streaking across the sky in the Mark III armor.
In the Mark III armor, man.
It's like, and he hit supersonic. It's like, oh,
man.
You gotta see that, right?
They're doing it, and they did it well, man. They did it well. I did see this in the theater twice. But I was very, very impressed with this. I was very impressed with this. What Marvel did, they took pretty much a decade. They don't feel that long, do it? But they took a decade to character build and make you build a relationship with each character in each individual movie. I didn't feel anything was rushed, and they explained everything with each film, and it started off to perfection. We're only going to focus on the good here. It started off to perfection, and I appreciated it.
Now, one of the key elements about talking about top 10 moments of the MCU, and I know you may have a few of yours, and this doesn't have to be everyone's. We're just throwing these out here for memory's sake and what our cinematic experience may have been regarding this. But there was always something, because Iron Man was the first to kick things off. But there was something about Tony, his intelligence, and as Obadiah Stane, played by Jeff Bridges, says, Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave.
In a cave.
From a box of scraps. And knowing that Tony could, every time he ran into an issue, the next time he had not only superseded what the problems may have been with his created armor or whatever, but he was always on the cusp of pushing the envelope further, because he knew that there needed to be a counter for whatever he was running into. So by the time he got to his Mark II armor, because the cave break armor, that Mark I, it had a lot of shortcomings. And like Obadiah said, he had built it from a box of scraps in there, but he was so intelligent, and you know, he was able to do that with what's the gentleman's name that was in the cave with him?
It escapes me.
If someone in the chat can remember his name.
His name escapes me.
Vincent or something like that. He helped Tony a great deal, but he also saved Tony's life, and Tony remembered that. But we're going to get down to one of the first moments again that was so memorable, and we could talk about it, and we're going to just bring it right out here. And of course, in the backdrop there, beyond the poster that I've got for the original theatrical poster for the film, is my little image meme over there from Endgame. Cap happens to be my favorite character, so, but I wanted to share this one. This was Jensen. There you go. I said Vince. Yeah, Jensen. Thank you there, Adrian. But this was a moment here, man, and some of us can look back on this and just think about it. And feel free to make your comments on this, Drew, when I put it up here. But this was an exciting moment when we saw Tony suit up for the first time with the Mark II.
Jarvis, you there?
At your service, sir.
Gauge heads-up display.
Check.
4-door preferences from home interface.
Will do, sir.
All right, what do you say?
I have indeed been uploaded, sir. We're online and ready.
We start the virtual walk-around?
Importing preferences and calibrating virtual environment.
Do a check on control surfaces.
As you wish.
Dude, let me just say, as we when this movie came out and they started showing this, I was sitting in my chair like a kid. You see what I'm saying? And it was like, and because Robert Downey Jr. is of course, now he's thought of as an A-lister actor, but whomever's playing the character, they were going to have to show his face.
Yeah.
So they came up with this ingenious way of what they call the hub cam, where he's talking to Jarvis and you can see all the graphics on the screen in front. So basically you're seeing his face is actually like a mirror of what he's seeing on the lens and you know, of his helmet and everything. I thought that was one of the coolest things ever. What were your thoughts about that?
You know, we've come a long way. We've come a long way. And from remakes, a lot of you, some of you in the chat, y'all were born into this type of CGI. It's normalized for you, but you gotta understand, we come from a different era. And y'all saw Clash of the Titans in the mid 2000s. You gotta understand, I first saw Clash of the Titans. What was Stormy? 1980, 1981?
Yeah, that was like early 80, 81.
If you go back and watch the original Clash of the Titans, y'all are gonna laugh at us because damn it, it was bad. But I love the film.
Yeah.
I love the film, but that was the best we could do back then. That was the best we could do. You understand? A lot of that was our imagination. And it was cool to watch. The claymation stuff, it was cool to watch. Y'all will laugh at it now. So you got to understand, us looking at this, it's like we're in the theater like, oh my God, that looks so good.
And we have to give Jon Favreau credit, because I remember reading an article on him as the director of the film. And, you know, he played Happy Hogan in the film. But in Daredevil, he played with Ben Affleck. He played Foggy Nelson in Daredevil.
Yep.
And Daredevil turned out to be not a Fox film that wasn't as popular as they had hoped. But he talked about the experience of the comic book fan and understood from his Daredevil experience. He was like, you can't gloss over certain things with especially when you're introducing your hero to the audience for the first time ever. So the detail to the suit up process with Tony, not only was it so well done in this film, but they kept that throughout the Iron Man experience, throughout, you know, all of the rest of the films that Iron Man appeared in.
Yes.
Both his own and when he crossed over into the Avengers or even Spider-Man or whatever. So it's like Captain America. So it's like to see that, and they kept that up, and they showed it also as you went through with the upgraded technologies and stuff like that, that Tony was always incorporating something pretty new. But we're gonna go through this again. I call this scene the first flight, because that's when he was suiting up, getting ready to go out.
You want to know what's clever? Yeah.
Go ahead.
What's clever is all of these things that they're sounding off, these mechanics and stuff, it's all BS. But they speak it with such conviction, it makes you believe it's real.
Yes.
And that's why I appreciate. I'm like, none of this shit even exists. You know, any mechanic, any rocket science is like, yo, this is not real. I know, but they make it sound like it's like, oh man, this was just great, man. Fantasy at its finest, and I love it.
preparing to power down and begin diagnostics?
Yeah, tell you what, do a weather and ATC check, start listening in on ground control.
Sir, there are still terabytes of calculations needed before an actual flight is a
Jarvis, sometimes you gotta run before you can walk. Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Now, did you notice, like, as soon as he was hitting the edge of the garage, he scraped up against the wall? It's like, because this is his first flight. So it wasn't perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I said about Jon Favreau taking you through the process, because even Pepper said something to him in this first film. She said, "You're going to kill yourself." Because he was doing all this stuff. And that's what made it more relatable, because it was like, though he was a genius, he wasn't perfect. It was like he still had to. Do you remember when he was testing the thrusters?
Yeah.
He was like, okay, we're gonna start it off at 50%.
And he launched his shit into a backflip. Oh, that was hilarious.
Drew in chat, when I was in the theater, seeing that for the first time, when he did that, the theater just lost it.
They did it. Do you have that clip available?
I don't
did
have
it
it in
so
my
fast.
queue for this, but man, that was a hell of a scene.
They did it so fast. I'm like, man, I'm going straight to the ER and I'm scrapping everything after that.
The next time he did it, he was like, all right, Jarvis, 15%.
Man. But you know what you can appreciate? He didn't just go home, make a suit, and jump back and just jump into it like he'd been doing it 1,000 years.
Right.
It was like him riding a bike. And he had to get to know it first and get to know it first, and know it first.
Right.
It was a building process, and that's what story building. Story building. I mean, that was just great.
Great stuff. Let me finish it up real quick.
Kind of like a dream. All right, let's see what this thing can do. What's SR-71's record?
The altitude record for fixed-wing flight is 85,000 feet, sir.
Records are made to be broken. Come on!
Sir, there is a potentially fatal buildup of ice occurring.
Keep going! Higher!
The ice up, Jarvis. Deploy flaps. Jarvis.
Wow.
Now, see, this part right here comes into the plot later in the film, right? And not only that, but I love the fact that he was pressing the envelope. Records are made to be broken. That's Tony's way, right? And he's thinking about that, because if he's going to be doing what he has, I don't even say he totally conceptualized it yet, but he knew, he had an idea of what he wanted to do.
Right.
But he needed to find out what his limitations were initially so that he could break through those and then get out there and become who he wanted to become. And I think Favreau was spot on with that whole process. And my favorite part of this scene right here is coming up.
Come Break the ice!
Look at that.
That's my favorite part right there, because he know he almost died, and he defied death, and he was like, "Yes!" That was my favorite part right there, when he almost hit the ground. He came up out of it. Amazing,
Kill power.
bro.
Oh, that was funny.
Dude, wasn't that amazing though? That was an amazing moment, man. Amazing moment.
Man, listen. Again, the building point. Y'all guys gotta understand, I appreciated this film so much. The building point, the building point, the building point. You don't just get on a bike and start riding it. You understand? And they take you through that. And I'm gonna tell you something else. The Ironmonger is what it was called. Are you familiar with that character in the comic books?
Little bit, not as much as what I learned from seeing it cinematically. Yeah.
Incidentally, I was at my brother's house fairly recently, and he has a comic in 1986 where he fought him in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And you familiar? Oh, so you're not familiar with the character, so you know he had committed suicide in that book. It was crazy. But that was also the first. Just briefly. Yeah, Obadiah Stane. Yeah. That was when Iron Man came back to being Iron Man. He quit because he had an alcohol problem and Rhodey took over. But then when Tony Stark came back, he came back with the red and silver suit in the book. That was the first appearance of it, right? Rhodey kept the yellow and red. Tony came back in the red and silver, right? And he fought Obadiah. So in the translation, in the movie of the Ironmonger costume, it was comic book accurate. It was very. I mean, Stormy, you gotta understand. I'm in the theater like, yo, this is great, and the silver and red suit that debuted, drawn by John Byrne. He did that book. We saw that in the next Iron Man movie, in the suitcase. I said, look at what they're doing. This is, oh man, it was so, man, it was great. It was great, man.
Yeah, and though they touched on very lightly, even that you would not even notice the story of Tony, the alcoholism, and I think one of the reasons, I'm only taking a stab in the dark at this when I say this. This is my personal opinion.
Yeah, Brother Reef, no. Yes, yes, sir.
But one of the reasons that they didn't do that in the films was because Robert was a recovering addict.
Yes.
And, you know, they didn't need him to go into method acting. You know, and I think that was a good choice. But there were traces of it when we saw him having the reaction to the arc reactor.
Yeah.
And he was drinking this substance and stuff, trying to keep himself together. And, you know, he was like in Iron Man 2, when him and Rhodey had it out a little bit, that was kind of like a little bit of that storyline coming in there. And Rhodey was telling him, man, we need you back on ship, man. Are you gonna get your stuff together or what? You know? And Tony was, I'm all right, you know. And then Nick Fury was talking to him too. Sir, please vacate the donut. Remember when he was telling him, and he's sitting up there in the donut hole eating a box of donuts.
Yeah.
Who does that? You understand? The donuts were a substitute for something else.
Something else. They didn't harp on it. You remember when he was in the bar, and the original General Ross, he said, "I thought you quit." So he was letting you know that he did have a drinking problem.
Right.
They didn't harp on it. They didn't harp on it, but you know.
Here we go.
Yeah, there we go. That's okay. 10-9-8. That means continue patrol.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So there's something else that I wanted to share about the ending of this film. And it takes us to a great place as the story went on. Let's see here. I'm going to remove something that I had in there because that's done. Now this here was something when the film wrapped up, a lot of people weren't prepared for the post credits, the original post credit.
Jarvis.
Welcome home.
I am Iron Man. Think you're the only superhero in the world? Mr. Stark, you've become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know.
Who the hell are you?
Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Man, that scene right there. That scene right there, bro. I'm gonna tell you something else. My dad, you know why he was confused?
Yeah,
he
was the original Nick Fury, as Samuel Jackson said, looked like David Hasselhoff running through the jungle with weapons.
He said,
what I mean? So that was something that, you know, we weren't really prepared to continue to see. You know what I mean?
Right. My dad said, he said, wait a minute, Nick Fury's white. I said, well, Dad, something's changed. Something's changed. And, you know, it actually worked out. You know, they cleaned it up in the comic books. I don't know if you knew that.
Right.
They cleaned it up. There's a reason why. Well, it's long. It's convoluted, but you know they explain why the change, and they kind of like bridged it. You know, it's hard to explain, but you know, whatever. Man.
Yeah. So let me know your thoughts about when you saw that post credit, because I consider that one of the top moments as well.
You know why?
Nick Fury.
You know why I thought it, you know why I got hyped? Because I knew where they were going after that.
Right.
I knew where they were going after that. It wasn't going to stop at the Hulk. Well, at that time, you didn't know the Incredible Hulk film was in line with the Iron Man film until the General Ross scene, I believe. And that was that Iron Man 2, if I'm not mistaken?
No. That was the Incredible Hulk.
That was the Incredible Hulk. When he showed, okay. Once I saw Nick Fury, I knew where they were going.
Right.
And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, who? What they doing? What we doing here? Because by then, we was already introduced to the Black Widow. Well, she came later. The Thor film. And they kept leaving us tidbits of what's happening. Now, I want to jump ahead just a little bit. One of the moments, if you don't have nothing lined up right now, because I want to jump ahead to the Avengers film.
Okay. Before you jump ahead, let me hit this because you just mentioned it.
Right.
We got to go into it because that was one of the the moments too, and I'll explain once we show this. The Incredible Hulk, which was released a few months after Iron Man, was the second Marvel production, but coming instead of through Paramount Studios, it was coming through Universal, who had the rights to the character. So because they were looking to create these second tier heroes, because Spider-Man and Fantastic Four and X-Men were considered first tier heroes in Marvel. So Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk and Captain America and Thor, those were considered the B team, basically, that they were saying of Marvel heroes. Now, this film, The Incredible Hulk, was brought out. They had Ed Norton playing Bruce Banner, and Liv Tyler playing Betty Ross, and John Hurt playing General Ross, which I thought that was excellent casting, because John Hurt was great as Ross, man.
Yeah.
I'll never forget him yelling in this film, "I want what's in him."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It was like,
yeah,
he had this thing.
That was crazy.
Boy, he was out for him, boy. But I wanted to say that we had some excellent moments in this film, The Incredible Hulk, and there was something else about the film in its post-credit stage. We can get back to it in a moment, but I just wanted to say this because you had mentioned it. The post-credit stage of The Incredible Hulk, audiences now knew, after hearing what happened at the end of Iron Man, they were like, oh, we should have stayed and watched it or whatever. So when it finally came out on DVD or whatever, they was able to watch the scene. Many people missed it, right?
Yeah.
So this time around, they knew to stick around.
Yes.
And this is what the audiences were able to come away with. This was an amazing scene here.
Here we go.
Pull it up.
Reload.
Snow, stale beer, and defeat. You know, I hate to say I told you so, General, but that super soldier program was put on ice for a reason. I've always felt the hardware was what's good.
Stark,
General.
you always wear such nice suits.
Touche. I hear you have an unusual problem.
You should talk.
You should listen.
Mm.
What if I told you we were putting a team together?
Who's we?
When he said, what if I told you we were putting a team together? That right there, man, everybody knew what that meant. And tell them what it meant, Drew.
Avengers Initiative. And we were on our way.
Because Nick Fury had already talked to Tony. And he said, I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. We didn't even know what that was cinematically, you know. But to see Stark show up in The Incredible Hulk, we automatically knew and recognized that we had a shared universe, you know, with these characters.
That was the when I left the theater, the possibilities were so fun. It was so fun to consider. I'm like, man, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. What's going on here? They could do this, and what's gonna happen? Man, me and my boys, we sat around and man, we were in 8th grade all over again, bro. We was trying to.
Well, we go to that point that you were talking. I just wanted to say this was another standout moment from the film and The Incredible Hulk. And it's something that, you know, I love the way that the director, Louis Leterrier, introduced the Hulk in this film, because it started out like a horror film. You know, you only see shadows and like quick glimpses of Hulk, but
Yep.
you can tell, one, he's a massive being, two, powerful, and three, I don't know if you had seen it in the theater and noticed it, but I really noticed it at home on my home theater. His growl was very deep and gravelly. It was like it
It
gave,
wasn't human.
yeah, it
It
was
wasn't
like,
human.
you know. So when we saw him in that warehouse initially, a little bit, but it was the campus scene where the military had followed him in
Yeah.
bed, and they were looking to move in on him, and Blonsky kind of jumped the gun because he was ready to get after Banner. And so this is what we were met with when everything had went down,
This part right here.
when they had trapped him in that
Yes,
vestibule.
sir. Yep.
Damn.
Now she'll see.
Oh boy.
Blonsky wanted all the smoke, though.
I know, right?
Let him have all of it. Where are the 50 cows? Move your asses!
Man, when he knocked that tank over, I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Because that's the Hulk, man. It is like, remember, up until this point, yeah, we had Ang Lee's Brokeback Hulk, but we didn't have. You always crack up when I call him that. But hey, we didn't have this one, though. And this one right here, amongst the people, that's the real Hulk, man.
Yep.
And director Louis Leterrier said he wanted him to look like pumped, juiced to the gills, whatever. And that's exactly what he looked like. Some people prefer this look over what the MCU would do later when he came back in the Avengers and everything. But this Hulk right here, bro, he looked like he would tear something up. And he did. You know what I'm saying? Your thoughts, Drew?
Man, listen. You know what I appreciated about this? What I appreciated was in this film, they made him, he was like a, it was horror. It gave you a horror element. And when you finally saw him, they made sure you seen him in daylight. And man, oh man, it was brilliant. And you're right. When he knocked over that truck, I'm in the theater like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Because what people don't realize is the Hulk's first enemy was the military.
The military,
He's running around beating up tanks and stuff. He didn't fight a super rival, and I don't even remember who it was. You know what, Storm? You know who it may have been? It may have been Ben Grimm.
Yeah.
It may have been Ben Grimm. You know, but prior to that, he was knocking over tanks and things like that. So to see that in this film on that level, oh man, this was oh man, this was special, man.
And I'm gonna take it a little further in here with what the clip will show, because I need people to see something else about the connection of the MCU. Man, them dudes in that tank are dead.
Bro, first of all, that's an engine, y'all. Nah, I'm not staying there.
Blonsky, now you're up.
Cover me.
Now, let's just remind everybody that Blonsky had taken the super soldier serum before coming out here for this. So he was already had some wires loose, but that super soldier serum kind of, remember what Dr. Erskine said to Steve about people who did take the serum. It makes a good man great. It makes a bad man worse. So whatever you are in your character and everything, it's going to bring that out even more. And I just said that Blonsky was a little loose in the head, right? Loose screws.
Right.
So he would even, as General Ross is telling him stuff, he ain't listening. It's like kind of like doing his own thing, but he doesn't even know what he's capable of yet, but he's just doing it. So this is what we're experiencing in this moment right now.
Yep.
I love this moment right here too.
Remember me.
See, he don't even have no fear of Hulk.
Yo, like I said, he wanted all the smoke.
God, he's doing it.
Moving toward the cannons.
Now this is the part that I'm talking about connects to MCU more, because those cannons are designed by Stark engines.
You see how fast he's running?
Yeah.
And here's what y'all nerds might not know. Who else was running like that at that speed?
Black Panther.
Yup. He got the super soldier serum.
Please, no, please.
I kind of prefer this one, man. Look at Ross.
Oh.
Man, that is amazing, bro. That is amazing. And one of those moments that we've talked about. It's like in the theater, I was like, when that scene was over, and there's still so much more happening. But hey, I'll say this once more. Do you know this is my most watched film out of the 23 films of phase
That's
1,
your
2,
favorite
3? I've watched that movie more than any of them. The Incredible Hulk. I love it, man. And you know what's funny? It's not my favorite, but I've watched the most. I watched it the most out of all of the 23 films of the MCU from phase 1, 2, and 3.
Brother, that's up there. It wasn't out of Marvel Phase 1. It wasn't.
Did you intentionally turn your light out? Because you're dark. We can't see you at all.
No, I did. Give me 1 second. I'm actually emailing somebody at
Oh,
YouTube.
okay.
You know what I'm doing.
But go ahead and
Yeah,
finish saying
yeah.
what you were saying.
Although this is not my favorite film, I got everything that I was looking for out of this film. Everything. And I heard the body double for this. I don't know how true it is, but they use a professional bodybuilder by the name of Lee Priest. He's Australian.
Okay.
In real life, he's like about 5 feet tall. But I don't know how true that is. But I think they use his body type. That's why he was so chiseled like that. But
Well,
man,
I'll tell you something. Louis Leterrier, the director of this movie, that son of a gun knows how to direct action. Remember, I was telling you about the Fast and Furious film that he did? Did you check that out finally?
Yes, I did.
And did you see how the action was, especially with that big ball rolling through the city and everything? And they trying to race it. And man, that guy knows how to shoot action. And they should bring him back because he can do comic book action. He can, with the Incredible Hulk, I mean, what he was able to do with at that time, because we're talking 2008, bro.
Yeah.
And how the technology has gotten so much better. Imagine what he could do now with these characters like Hulk or whatever. Bring him back, please.
He had the action scenes on lockdown, man. I was thoroughly, like I said, when these films hit the theaters, man, I had such a nice time. You want to talk about popcorn films? But they were a little more than popcorn films because the stories were intertwining.
Yes.
You know where they were going. And I craved to see what was next. Dag, man.
So you were
they need to bring him back, man.
Jump ahead to the Avengers. Go ahead.
Right.
We don't want to lose your train of thought of what
Now,
you had to say about that.
One of the things that stuck out to me, by the time we got to the Avengers film, the first time when you saw Captain America and Iron Man on the screen together, when Iron Man interrupted the radio system playing AC/DC in the theater, everyone was like, "Oh, here he come!" And when he landed and they stood next to each other, the theater was like, "Yo, yeah!" Oh man, that's movie magic right there, man. I got hype, man. I got hype when that happened, when he showed up, when they first interacted with Loki. That was great.
Dude, I got that queued up.
Let's get it.
Should we do it?
Yes. Let's get it.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I got it queued up. Because that was an amazing moment here. Let's see here. Now, this is, of course, we're talking about Loki having with the Tesseract, I mean, not the Tesseract, when he was given the scepter that had an Infinity Stone in it too, but we didn't know that at the time. But those of us who kind of knew about the Infinity Stones or whatever, we kind of guessed it, right? Because we kind of figure like, hey, that thing is powered by something. So we kind of were in on it, but not in on it. But for the story's sake. But yeah, we're gonna enjoy this a little bit, and I'll have to stop it at a couple moments so we could talk over it and everything, so the folks don't, But yeah, this is something, man, that we have to mention because it was a great moment as well. And also, I don't know if you remember this, but they were showing the dimensions of Thor and Loki as being much bigger than the rest of the Avengers.
Yes.
Initially. And then later on, it just became they were all similar in height and size. But if you remember how this was shot, Loki was a lot bigger than the regular humans.
for me. I said,
Now, it was in this moment here that it's like you could see the real evil of Loki coming out, because in Thor, he was a shyster, a slickster, or whatever.
Yeah.
But here, with the power of that scepter and everything, you could see that he is really a corrupt soul.
Right.
And
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? And so as he's been sent by Thanos to retrieve the Tesseract, but Loki is kind of like, he ain't thinking about Thanos. He's thinking about what Palpatine said when they were trying to kill Samuel Jackson's character.
Yeah.
Absolute power. You know,
Power, yep.
that's what he was thinking. But yeah, let's get to it.
is not this simpler? Is this not your natural state? It's the unspoken truth of humanity that you crave subjugation. The bright lure of freedom diminishes your life's joy in a mad scramble for power, for identity. You were made to be ruled. In the end, you will always kneel.
Not a man like you.
There are no men like me.
There are always men like you.
Now, do you understand that old man and what he represents?
What he represents? I understood it.
Share with the audience, Drew, because there's some people, you know, you can watch a movie and just be watching it, and then there's other times when you can pick up the subtleties.
What that man represented, first of all, the first thing I picked up was his accent.
Yes.
That's the first thing I picked up. He represents, well, you know, you got to be careful how you say things on YouTube.
Right.
You know, we all know the group of people that suffered under a certain reign. And they made sure that the man that stood up to Loki was willing to lay his life down because he understood the mentality and the nature of what Loki represented.
And his age.
And his age. He was an old man.
He's an old man. That means he's seen some things.
That's right. And let's just say he might have known Magneto, quote unquote.
Exactly.
I know the story of Magneto. Yes.
So, and it was at that moment there that Loki is like, okay, now I get a chance to show you humans what I can do to you. And this is where it really gets great and goes into what you were just talking about a moment ago.
Look to your elder people. Let him be an example.
It is.
You know, the last time I was in Germany and saw a man standing above everybody else, we ended up disagreeing.
The soldier.
Well written, right?
And who stopped that blast?
I'm not the one who's out of time.
Yeah.
Loki, drop the weapon and stand down.
Kneel.
Not today.
Guys all over the place.
Now, before we get to the next step and phase, I wanted to say something about Cap fighting Loki. Now, Loki is an Asgardian, so basically, like Black Widow, Natasha told Steve on the Quinjet earlier, they're basically gods. And he said, there's only one God, ma'am, and I'm sure he doesn't dress like that.
That was funny as hell.
Man, yeah, right. But I mean, the writing was very good. But even in this moment, with what Cap had said coming behind the old man, standing up to Loki, that was so well done and well written, man. This is what they've kind of gotten away from. To get back to this is what we crave and what we yearn for. But this is the moment right here that you were speaking about.
Yes.
Agent Romanoff, you miss me?
This part right here.
What an entrance.
Making moves, reindeer games.
That right there.
Good move. Mr. Stark. Captain.
Man, what an awesome moment, right?
Bro.
The theater went crazy in this instance too. It was just one of those moments that you're like, man, this is what it's all about, man. And as you're sitting there watching the movie for the first time, it's like, can you get any more excited? Can you raise it up? Can you raise the whole
and they
movie
did.
was like this, bro?
And they did. And they did. Just when you think it couldn't get any better, they did. Because something happened after that.
Yeah.
Right after that. Man. Oh, man. There was so many. Oh, man. I know we rated the movies in like favorites. Winter Soldier's my favorite. And well, did we rate them here? Like our favorites in order?
No, you know, it's not even about there being an order because there's so many moments. But I think that what we're pointing out more than anything is what made this experience great, what made it so great, you know? And we'll talk about the writing. We can talk about the performances, the way the action was shot, the special effects. And notice that even though we've mentioned the special effects aren't the story.
Right.
The characters that are the story.
Yeah.
Like us reminiscing on Stark damn near killing himself building these suits. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
man,
dude, just some amazing stuff.
Story building, you know, the CGI. I'm still stuck on that story building. It was done to perfection, man. It really was. But yeah, that moment right there. Oh man, to be if in the chat, if you ever gone to see a movie and the movie reaches that pinnacle where the audience just loses it, you know what my first time experiencing that was? I'm gonna take you back. I'm taking y'all back to 1979. Wait, whoa. What year the first Star Wars came out?
Like 77, yeah.
77. Do you know I remember going to see that? My parents took me.
It had that type of impression on audiences, though.
Man, listen. I'm gonna tell you what scene. When Han Solo came back, when they thought he just broke out, and when he came back to help Luke, the theater erupted. I remember that. I remember being there. I was sitting on my mom's lap, and everyone said, "Oh!" when he came back. I remember that. You live for those moments. And I don't have that many moments in the theater, which is why I remember that so well. In Avengers and in Iron Man, there were moments like that. And when Stark came to help right there, that scene that we just played, that was one of those moments. That was one of those moments, man. Loved it, man. Loved it. Because you finally get to see, you know where they were going. And the thing is, at that scene, you knew that there was more to come. And it happened in that film. Dare I say, Avengers 1 had everything. It had story, it had great CGI, and it had those moments where they call it a pop from the audience. It had those, there was like 3 or 4 pops in that one movie. And that was one of them. Loved it, man. Loved it.
Yeah, some amazing stuff, man. And there was another amazing moment where during the film, you and I kind of talked about this before we went live, but we got to share this one because not only was it an amazing moment, but we just have to give credit to the writers and coming up with the ways to entertain us regarding this material. And that's this moment here. Allow me to bring it up. Let's see here.
Oh.
Yeah. Here we go.
Enough! You are all of you beneath me. I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
Puny god.
Oh my goodness.
Now look, salute, General. Now look. Now look. When that scene happened, I didn't hear shit for like 5 minutes. We didn't hear anything. That was the fun. Because you know why? Let me tell you what makes that scene so special. Hulk, like, bogarts him into the top of the building. He bangs the floor like he wants smoke. And then Loki jumps up and he starts monologuing. And then you hear the music. And I'm thinking, well, what's he going to do? He's going to turn into a, because, you know, in the movie, he's half frost giant.
Right.
So I'm like, what is he going to do? He's going to morph into some frost giant and start fighting the Hulk. And he just grabs him and does that. Fight's over. Man, we was in the theater dying. We was like, yo, what the? And my pops was like, yo, that's how you got to do it sometimes. It's just.
Hey, man. And what was really funny, too, is like you'll never get this in the theater audio. But if you're watching it at home, you can hear Loki when he's laying there. He's going like this.
He was in shock. He was in pain, but he was in shock. He kicked his ass. And he ragdolled him. He ragdolled him.
You know, Hulk gave him a whatever and what for, as old boy used to say in Fight Club. But man, it was just a brutalization of a guy that needed it, right? We've been waiting for Loki to get his.
Yup.
And Hulk helped us out tremendously.
Oh man, that was funny as hell.
And I'm gonna tell you guys, for those who came late to the party, right? This is why in Thor Ragnarok, when Loki saw Hulk come out in that stadium and he was sitting up there next to, what's his name? The what was Jeff Goldblum's character?
Oh, that was the grand shit.
Grandmaster, right?
He's the Grandmaster.
Yeah, he's sitting up
he's
there.
blue in the comic books, yeah, but yeah.
But he's sitting up there in the rafters with him in the box seats. And when he saw the Hulk, he was like, "Oh shit!" He was ready to.
He said, "I have to get off this planet." The whole planet. He said, "I have to get out of here." He said, "I have to get off this planet."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God!"
And see, people who have been following the movies straight through, they pick up on that right away, right? If you didn't, you might have missed this film, missed that one, or whatever. But let me tell you something. The one thing that we know Loki is scared to death of is the Hulk.
Yup. Oh my God.
Boy, that was so funny there, boy. I
have to get off this planet,
though, right? In the movie theaters. Drew, we can't express how much that scene meant in that movie.
Man, that scene. Because you know what? I'm going to tell you what that scene represents. Loki was the villain in that film. And villains are the creme de la creme. There's always some sort of major boss fight. But when Hulk got a hold of him, he ragdolled him and the fight was over. And the message was, some of these guys with the biggest mouths, bullies, what do you know about bullies? All you got to do is tap them on that one chin and then they over with. That's all you got to do. Tap them on the chin. And that was a version of getting tapped on the chin. You know, when Captain America came and saved the OG, he said, last time I was in Germany, I saw someone and we didn't see eye to eye. He was talking about Adolf Hitler.
Yep.
So this was the mentality behind all of that. You know, Hitler was a bully. And when Nazi Germany crumbled, he went missing. And he was a pipsqueak. But he had a big mouth. So Loki at that time represented that. He was a big mouth. And he started monologuing and Hulk ragdolled him and the fight was over. Fight was over. You know? It's one of those things where if Banner got a hold of him.
In the film when Loki referred to Banner as the mindless creature or whatever.
Right.
He didn't know the Hulk is not mindless by any means.
At all.
He doesn't have Banner's scientific mind, but he does have practicality in everything. Hulk is not, he's only a beast in his actions, but not in his thought, because, you know, he retains, and that's why you remember in Thor Ragnarok, when Thor was trying to walk away out of that room that they were in, and he walked into that charge, right?
Yeah.
And he went back down, and Hulk was laughing at him. Oh, because Thor was like, I'm going. He was like, go. And Thor walked into the electric charge and fell back. Hulk laughed. He was eating that fruit. He laughed. He was like, oh, Thor, go again. He was like, it's like little stuff like that, man, that just make you be like, oh, okay. Yeah, I see what's happening here, right?
Man, that was great, man. That was great. That was great, man. Avengers, if y'all ain't watched that, I don't know what's wrong with y'all, man. It's an instant classic. The first Avengers.
And of course, all of that led to this.
Here we go. Is it playing?
Yeah, it's playing. It's supposed to be playing. Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to re-add it.
Yeah.
riches we were promised. They stand. They are unruly and therefore cannot be ruled. To challenge them is to court death.
That right there. That
Dude.
right there.
Now, what's so amazing about that is there was a double entendre with what was spoken by the other. To challenge them is to court death. Death in the comics is an entity that Thanos is in love with.
Yes.
And though they didn't follow the storyline of the comics when it came to Thanos's obsession with, you know, deleting half the universe, the basis for it comes from Lady Death and his affinity to win her approval,
right,
and her affections. And I can understand why they didn't want to get too off into that and whatnot, but it's still an amazing thing that they, at the end of all of what we saw, Drew and chat, that they brought Thanos in there. I was like, damn, they going for the long ball, right?
Yeah. Yeah. My thoughts on that was once I saw him, I said they're going to do the Infinity Saga to the best way that they can, because there was a lot of characters that wasn't there. But I said, oh crap, they're really going to do this. And you got to understand, when he turned around and did that smile, that is picture perfect from the book. That's exactly how he looks. And the theater again erupted. When he stood up, everyone was like, wait a minute. And then when he turned around and did, you saw his face, we was like, oh. And then he did the smile. We were like, oh man. Oh my God. Now again, OG didn't know who that was. And I said, Pops, all you need to know is he wins. He beats everybody. He was like, what? He won. In the comic, he won. People start vanishing, he won. And the way that they adapted that onto the movie, see, in the comic, people just disappeared. In the movie, they were disintegrating. So it looked a lot more tragic.
Dramatic, yeah.
Yeah, man. It was like, oh man, when Spider-Man like disintegrated in Stark's arms, you felt that. When Bucky fell, he was like, yo, when T'Challa disintegrated, we was like, whoa, what's happening? And then how the movie ended, no music, nothing. It just ended. We were like, oh, snap. You remember, you know what? We got to save some for the next show, bro, because I don't want to get too far ahead.
Yeah. We've got plenty more to go, but I was just gonna say, let's get some final thoughts in, because I know you got your pep talk coming up. But
yeah, this
was a great. You see why I put part 1 up there?
Yeah. we can't rush this. This is what we do, y'all. This is what we do, man. It's a safe haven. Shout out to the troll. You've thoroughly been reported. That was great. Thank you for getting this count up. But I hope you enjoyed the show. But this is what we do. And mind you, Stormy, we only covered what, 2 films? No, 3 films. Iron Man, some of the Avengers, and
The Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk. And we still in phase 1.
Thor and Cap yet.
Yeah, we didn't even get there. So you know there's gonna be a part 2. So yeah, this whew, man. I'm so glad we have access to watching it. Man, after pep talk, I'm gonna watch something tonight, man.
Yeah,
Man.
And you know, the Avengers film, the first one, when they put it on Blu-ray, I have to say it's one of the best looking Blu-rays I've ever seen. And that was before 4K came along. And if you watch it on 4K, there's not much difference between the quality of the picture, which means that it was shot with those digital cameras that picked up every detail of everything. It was just an amazing experience, man. Amazing.
Fun time.
I love this. And see, you know, when I come up with these subjects, it's real spontaneous because this was off the top of my head this evening. But you know, we got my little red folder where we got tons of shows, and we still ain't going through all of those yet. But it's like, you see how it's like when I said the content is there, it'll outlive us because there's just so much that we could talk about on this show. But this is what it's about. And if you look at the chat, you can see the engagement of the chat. Everybody was like, you know, because for those who followed this and are into this like we are, it's like, whew, it's right up our alley to reminisce and go back.
Yeah, this is great, man. I can't wait for part 2, man, because you got so much to discuss, man.
Absolutely.
This is,
we'll do a part 2. Maybe we'll give a week break and do something else next week and come back and do a part 2 because we'll keep it fresh.
Right.
Going through these because we'll know what we've talked about already and, you know, pick it up. We won't wait a long time, like a month from now or something.
Right.
But yeah. But
That's
thanks,
great,
man, for your contributions on this. And
absolutely, brother.
You know, we look forward to getting that part 2 in.
Yes, sir. Let me head over here. I got a interesting topic tonight that I have.
Yeah.
I might have to open up the panel. This is gonna be funny, but you know, it is what it is, man. But salute to you, Stormy. Another slam dunk, man.
Yes, sir. Salute to you as well, man. Take it easy. Have a great show.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Peace. Man, this has been an awfully great experience with you guys this evening, reminiscing on the top 10 MCU moments. And we're going to go way beyond 10. I can tell you that right now, because the whole thing of it is to reminisce on what was so great about the Infinity Saga, phases 1 through 3 with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But just know that, you know, this is what we do here, man. As the nerds, we talk about these subjects and everything and get a chance for everybody to get their nerd on, you know. But right now, it's time to pay some bills as we hear from my man, Focus Ball. Yeah.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
Yeah, so that brings us to the end of another Nerds on Culture, man. What a show. What an opportunity to come back and relive some of these cinematic experiences with you all. And I hope you guys just, hang tight to support and be here as we go through some future fare, but for those who are going to remain online, take your positive energy over to Pep Talk, where Drew is coming on in just a minute or two, and keep this thing flowing. You know what I mean? So I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we will catch you guys again on the next one. Peace to everybody. Have a great and prosperous week ahead.